All right, so you're a speaker, Pepe, but you're not a co-host, and it says I sent you the invite. All right, I tried resending the invite. We'll see what happens. Senor, what's up? John Wick, what is up? All right, let me go to my computer. Maybe. Lined up properly is my intuition right now. Yeah, I think I'm going to end this. Yeah, Michael accepted it. Yeah, Michael accepted it. What's up, Storm? What's up, Commander? Yeah, Michael. What is up, Space Ghost? What's up, Storm? What's up, Commander? Yeah, Michael. What is up, Space Ghost? What's up, Storm? Yeah.
Kevin, if you can hear me, go ahead and hard restart your phone all the way. Don't just restart the app. I had this happen to me last week, like 2 or 3 times. Any time that it didn't play nice on the front end, you couldn't get it to cooperate after that without a hard reset.
That's just what I was thinking, man. Go for it. We'll wait.
To cooperate after that without a hard reset.
In the meantime, if anybody wants to chit chat about whatever, I'm totally down. I've just been twerking all day long, doing my thing, hanging out with my dog. Just got back from a walk, ready to kick it with you guys. Oh, Minion's in the house. What's up, Minion? Yeah, Major. I would hold up on the recording until we're all squared away here.
Who's enjoying adult beverage like I am?
Yeah, I need to get on that right now, actually. All right, so
A Four Loco.
There we go.
Believe it or not.
Does an adult beverage entail cereal and milk?
I've never had problems with Twitter Spaces, but now I.
where this conversation goes. We are 7 minutes over. Pepe, take it away.
All right, give me just a second. Let me pin some tweets for everybody, and then we'll get started. Get Thor up here.
What's going on?
Yeah,
There he is.
You can boot me.
There you
Yeah, no, Twitter Spaces is like, if it's not working, it's very hard to use. The same problem last week.
It's amazing what restarting things can do, though. You know, computer science 101.
Exactly.
The thing is, I closed the app, I updated the app, and then came back in, and then it got worse. I was like, what?
Nothing's
So-
worse though when you call into like support and they're like, yeah, have you turned it on and turn it back off? And like you've already done it a couple times, but then it works. I feel like an idiot.
Yeah, trust me. We're at work. I sit across from the IT guy for our region, and he says that, and it fixes like 9 out of 10 people's problems. I'm like, geez.
Oh man.
All right, but
we got a bunch of new people here. We got
yeah.
Big Toe, Gambit, VGX, Legolas, Chloe, Senor is back, Casey, Ebro. Welcome.
Yep. Well, go ahead and get started. Thanks everybody for being here. We're going to start it off by saying we're not financial advisors, nor are we affiliated directly with Voyager or Voyager employees. We just like to coin. Everybody, you can check out Crypto Airborne stream if you have to leave early, or if you just prefer being on YouTube. He's live streaming the whole thing, so this is recorded. It's being live streamed right now and will be uploaded, so you can watch it at any point. Thanks everybody for being here. We got some new panel members, but start off with me. You know, I'm Pepe Stallone, your moderator for the evening. Happy to be here. 10th VGX hero. You know, I just like talking, help educating. I appreciate everybody for being here. Moving on to Michael.
Hey everybody, thanks for coming back. I thought we had a pretty good spaces last week. If anybody doesn't know my background, I'm an entrepreneur turned crypto advocate and hopefully educator. And I'm just passionate about making sure that people that succeed in the crypto space stay successful in the crypto space.
Yeah, then we'll move it on to, you know, we'll get Floki, get a quick point from him, then we'll move on to our new members.
Y'all know me. I'm just a crypto Viking. Happy to be here, surrounded by smart people, and learn as much as I can.
Yeah, Aragorn's up here, but we'll just act like he's not up here. So we'll move on to our first new member of the education panel, Thor, or you know, Crypto ERT down there.
What's going on, everybody? Yeah, Crypto Art. Didn't really know which way to go, but yeah, for everybody that doesn't know me, down in Miami, Florida, I've been in crypto since late 2016. Been in VGX since, well, been following Voyager since end of 2019, and have held VGX since early 2020. Love the project, love BGX Heroes, and I'm excited to be a part of the space, be a part of this group as well.
Yeah, thanks, my guy. He's gonna kind of take over for Crypto Daddy Pig as more of our TA chart guy, and now we'll move on to Neil Armstrong, another new face on the panel.
Yeah, thank you, Pepe, or Pepe. Yeah, I'm a Midwesterner. I graduated from Purdue University. That's where I guess my hero comes from with Neil Armstrong. He obviously went to my alma mater, but very passionate about financial security and providing a more fruitful life for myself and others around me. So any way that I can help and assist people grow both in their financial security and influence the community that is the VGX Heroes, I'm always going to be a part of. So happy to be here, happy to be a part of the community, and to share whatever knowledge and experience that I've had, which crypto I've studied for quite a while, but I just first started to get in this year. So call me a FOMO, whatever you want, but it's never too late. So here we are.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And, you know, in the grand scheme of things, we're still early, as they like to say, because like even on that, like in my real life, so 23, just left college a few months ago, graduated. In real life, people that I haven't gotten to crypto, I know 2 people that I met organically that invested in crypto without me directly telling them, and it still kind of blows my mind. And 2 of them are tech background. One is like head of IT, and then another is a tech guy. So it's like we're still very early in the grand scheme of things, but yeah, thanks everybody, and we'll let Aragorn get a quick word in.
Oh, I'm just here spamming you all about Gronk today. That was about my contribution, but I'm here if you need anything.
Yeah, everybody throw up 100 for this man tagging every hero. Took him 45 minutes, but he tagged every hero in that post.
Respect.
Yeah, no, that he was grinding it out. I'm like, God, he's still going. But yeah, we'll get to it. So anybody that has any questions or anything they want to shoot to the team up here, feel free to go ahead and start requesting, and we'll get the show moving. While we're waiting on the first, you know, we have some preset questions, and I'll kind of start off with the first on the list while we're waiting for people to request. So we saw an issue with somebody that got scammed on MetaMask. So just to touch on this, everybody, do not ever show your MetaMask hidden QR code or any personal information. There's every time you mention MetaMask on Twitter, you get 10 bot accounts that say their support. So please, if you have any MetaMask support questions, reach out directly to MetaMask and make sure to get some kind of confirmation that it is legit MetaMask people, but go through their services. Don't ever go to outside support for that. Because, you know, I hate when that happens, because in the nature of crypto, when it's lost, it's gone. You're not recovering. That's fine, show it off, but never show the transaction code, because yeah, I'll pass over to Michael to tag on this.
So yeah, from the OPSEC perspective, I think Pepe hit the nail on the head with MetaMask. They're basically, the bots are brutal. They're ruthless. And anytime the word MetaMask is mentioned in a tweet, you can guarantee within a few minutes there's going to be a bunch of bots that are claiming to be help and claiming to be tech support. And then what they'll do is they'll hit you with a Google sheet asking you to put in some of the details, and then they'll work through it. And they're basically it's a phishing scam. And then they'll drain your account, and there's no recourse, nothing you can do about it. It's not isolated to MetaMask, though. We talk about it the most frequently because it's the most prevalent ETH wallet, but it could be really any wallet product or anything that's any sort of tech support that you can need in the space, whether it be a wallet on any chain or even hardware devices. Ledger's had some issues in the past with phishing scams because their customer database had been compromised. So the people that had access to whoever had bought ledgers in the past was able to contact those people pretending to be Ledger and offering them new devices. So assume that you can start at a trust point of 0 with pretty much everybody in the space. Don't ever share. There's no reason to ever share your seed phrase or any of your secret words or your QR code for your private key. None of that should ever need to be shared, even if it were legitimately the company that made the device and they're helping you troubleshoot. There's still no excuse to share any of that information. So good OPSEC goes a long way. You know, a lot of people will just by default kind of have bad habits because they don't understand when you first get into the space what kind of reverence they should have for different aspects. But you shouldn't be even screen capping your seed words when they first come up, or those words should be written on something analog, and they should never be digitally input into any device other than recovering the wallet itself if you ever needed to do so. But you don't know what kind of security you've got on your phone, what kind of compromise you may have in terms of any kind of malware, or it's just not good OPSEC to keep those words stored digitally anywhere. So they should be analog and written down, or if you're seriously storing some larger sums on a device, you can even I've got these. It's called a block mitt, and it's basically a jig for pounding the seed words into stainless steel washers so that they're fireproof and floodproof and corrosion proof. And, there's a ton of different good OPSEC practices that you can take on, and if anybody ever wants advice on that, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to walk anybody through it. But I hate seeing people get scammed, especially by these jerk-offs in Twitter comments that just come and pretend to be tech support, and the next thing you know, your entire account's been wiped.
Can I add a quick note about seed phrases? So double check to make sure that if you're using two different wallets, that two completely different services, whatever the case, that there are different seed phrases for both. Again, this should come as a default, but it's the same thing as if you use one password for too many services. If one gets cracked, like it could have ripple effects. So double check, especially if you use a password manager, because I've heard of people that just did like a copy and paste, but they copy and pasted from the wrong service, from their wrong wallet, and they actually had the same seed phrase for two completely different wallets, and it ended up it compromised both wallets because of that. So just a little tip.
Yeah, and that's also going to depend on the tech involved too, because depending on which chain you're talking about, the derivation path may not even permit you to use the same seed phrase. So it's different in the ETH space than it is in the Bitcoin world, but there's typically charts that you can find online as far as cross compatibility. Like if you were choosing to no longer use MetaMask and wanted to switch to a different wallet provider, and you wanted to port over your existing wallet, there are ways of doing that using the seed words, where you basically kind of nuke the MetaMask on the existing device and then restore it elsewhere. And even on Bitcoin hardware wallets, you can do that, and there are good practices for doing that. It's just not best practice to have multiple wallets signed in all the time across different devices. You're creating attack vectors that don't need to exist.
Yeah, absolutely. Great points, everybody, on that. Thank y'all. Once again, feel free to request to come speak if you have any questions. It's the bottom right or bottom left button. And along with that, if you could go ahead and hit the tweet button on the bottom right and share the spaces, and just, you're having a good day, you're enjoying it, anything like that, feel free to share that for us, get some new faces in here. Go ahead, Noah Armstrong.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up with some of the comments there that, recently and most relevant, the T-Mobile account hacking. There's a lot of SIM swapping going on, and Steve Ehrlich has even talked free account feature right now for T-Mobile customers, if that's relevant for anybody, that they're able to basically lock down their account and make sure that their numbers cannot be ported, or that the SIMs cannot be requested without further verification that's there. And I just kind of urge people to review their own security, no matter what their carrier is, because obviously we have our phones that can be lost, and as we are living our social lives and sharing this information publicly, we can always be vulnerable to these.
That anybody can stop using text message or tape, you'd be better off, because then you somewhat cut down on the vulnerability of SIM swapping. So I highly suggest people use an authenticator app, like either Google Authenticator or Authy, or there's a number of products out there that are all going to work for that purpose. And some of them even add convenience, because you can actually run clones of those same authenticators on a PC or on a trusted device that maybe isn't in your phone, that's in your pocket all the time, or traveling, or potentially gets lost or stolen. So, I mean, I could probably go the full 2 hours on OPSEC, but I won't. I will spare everybody that trip. But for anybody that's in the Discord, go ahead on.
Until Voyager, it's just like, why take the risk? And this is probably over the top, but I sign out of my Voyager account when I travel until Voyager go places, it's just and I'm out and about, why take the risk? And this is probably Wi-Fi that I trust, basically. If I'm not I sign out. So that's just another of my Voyager account when I travel until
I would definitely
go
recommend
places,
don't
why
auto
take the
connect
risk?
or
And
connect
this is
to
probably
any
that I
Wi-Fi
trust,
or
basically.
public.
I sign out.
Not
So that's just
using
another
your
of my
own or like once again a trusted Wi-Fi, because it's so easy for people to get access to your devices through unsecured Wi-Fi's. So that's just another best practice.
Yeah,
but
use a VPN, use Tor when you can.
Definitely so. But kind of got a good spill on that. So we'll move on to the next. So with this recent Bitcoin drawdown, it kind of, a lot of talk of leverage trading and liquidations. So thought we'd just kind of touch on that for a little bit. So a brief breakdown of leverage trading. So it's comparable to options trading on the financial market, that you're using more money than you actually have. So theoretically, you can get better gains from your dollar. But with this, it's just a multiplier. So you have $1, you're 50x, you have $50. So with this, people got extremely long, and it was like on a lot of different platforms, they were 90+% long. And when that happens, since the money is multiplied, when it starts drawing down, you get liquidated. And in crypto, it's instant. It's not like, I hope I don't get margin called because I don't have the money like in the traditional financial market. It's automated in crypto that when you get to a certain point, you're just liquidated. And when this happens, with a steep drawdown, when everybody's long, it compounds on top of each other. So that's why you can see such a dramatic, it was a little, in a 2 hour span, we had a $10,000 drop. That's insane to think about, just because the mass liquidations that were happening because everybody was so long that it was just compounding on top of each other. And there was millions and millions. I think it was 3-point-something billion that got liquidated within that 2 hour span. So yeah, let Thor go, and then we'll tag it over to Michael on this.
Awesome. Yeah, you were right. I saw it was 3.5 billion. I mean, like you said, we see it happen all the time in crypto, especially if you think about it. The market cap is only right now, it's like 1.3 trillion. Makes it even easier to, one, manipulate the market, and then two, we see, I mean, it's extremely like a hype type of market, right? So everything starts going up, and especially the people that are less experienced find out about margin. You get on that 20x leverage, 10x leverage. Most people think it's free money, right? Because it's going up, and then you can see that on the order books. Like there are heat maps where you see, this is where you would liquidate 5x leverage people. So where you like the most like people at 10x leverage are, and where you need to go to liquidate them. Whales don't need, you don't need that much money to move the price up and down. And whales specifically will look to do that, bring the price down to cause that cascade, especially if they want to either have limit spot buys that they want to fill, or just take your money and then move the market the other way. So be very careful when you're doing leverage, and like they said, that's what causes the cascade, is forcing everybody to close their positions, and it's a waterfall effect.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, and to that effect, just to walk everybody through the basic math, because it came up recently on the Discord, and it seemed to be kind of a novel concept for some folks. But you hear in the news about these places that are offering up to 100x levered long. So to put into context what actually happens in 100x levered long, you can essentially establish the buying power of a full Bitcoin, a full $50,000 Bitcoin with $500. So it's great if everything goes up because everything's amplified 100x. However, what that means is that to the downside, you can only tolerate a $500 price swing to the downside before the entirety of your position gets liquidated and sold out from under you. And in practice, the way that actually works is, if you entered 100x levered long at 50,000, by the time Bitcoin got down to like 49,700, 49,600, you're probably going to start to get liquidated at that point, because they liquidate you higher than the threshold of you losing 100% of the investment. So what they do is that they call that part of their like insurance. So if they ever weren't able to time a trade in time and they were actually to come out net negative, people don't have to go out of pocket. But the majority of people that kind of cover that disparity between the trades that are exited in time and the ones that aren't, you may get exited before you even get to your cutoff point. So it's something that is playing with fire, and most people only focus on the upside, because if you had $500 in your pocket, sure, I'd love to get the buying power of a full Bitcoin. But knowing the volatility of this industry, I mean, how often Bitcoin has a $500 swing, every time you blink. So it's very hard to actually time those right and get those right. It's really gambling at that point. You're making a directional bet, but with very little likelihood of success, especially at the retail level.
And both ways, positive and negatively. Just think about that. Very easy just for things to be gone. It's more. It feels more like gambling to me. Otherwise, what? You're just an expert that dedicates your life to learning how to play the leverage market. It's extremely difficult. Same with day trading. So be careful out there.
They always get you when you're not expecting it. The amount of times when I first started out, especially like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, that I would wake up to a liquidation notice. It's the worst feeling in the world. You literally have to be an expert. You have to be doing this day in and day out to long term profit and make this a living or make a good amount of money. I love trading. Sorry about that.
Definitely so. Sunzu, did you have something?
Me? No. Sorry, I don't know if I raised a hand or anything.
You did the wave emoji. I didn't know if you were trying to get my attention.
Oh, no, I'm all set. Thank you.
But yeah, so we'll kind of move on from the. Oh, you got something new?
Yeah, I just remember like Rob from Digital Asset News. He's like, the market just shit 10%. It's a Tuesday. It's like we talk about $500 swings, and it's literally nothing in the grand scheme of things when you're looking at 10% in a random day. So it can be anything. And I don't even, personally, I just stay away from those things, because it literally just does look like gambling to me. And there's like, I'm not even going to touch anything that's remotely close to what I can be willing to lose. But knowing that it could just go away in the blink of an eye is just something that I just steer away from in general. But yeah, I see a lot of hands raised. I'll pass it off to Michael.
So I know a lot of people were maybe caught off guard by this liquidation event too that just happened. But one thing, some people tend to tune out like leverage and how this affects the market, because, well, I'm not trading leverage. What the hell do I care? Well, one thing that you should probably pay attention to is the fear and greed index is a pretty good indicator of, if we're getting lopsided on the trade, or you can tell, like, if everybody's leaning one direction on the trade and everybody's feeling super bullish, the pain trade is in the opposite direction. And then at that point is the most likely that somebody's going to come in and flush the toilet, because it's basically just poaching cheap and easy, Bitcoin or whatever asset in the space, like Thor was saying before. So don't take the emotion too strongly, like, I got this trade wrong. I was so bullish. Everybody was so bullish. We're all wrong. Odds are not necessarily we're wrong, but everybody got a little bit too greedy, and that flush was predictable. So this is where, longer term strategies and not day trading or swing trading, in the long run, these are really just noise, and the signal is really the overall kind of moving averages of the assets. But don't focus too much on the day to day, or don't swing trade unless you're understanding the minutia with this kind of depth, because you're going to find yourself on the wrong side of the trade if you're just trading based on the emotion of the market.
Yeah, definitely so. Thank you all for that. Darth, you can go ahead, my friend. Sorry we kept you waiting a little bit.
Nah, man, don't worry about it. I'm not here. This is my first time being in these things, so I'm a noob. But I just wanted to jump on real quick to talk to my VGX family. I've been in Texas for about 4 months. My son was born premature, and a lot of you guys know about that. And I have some good news. He is going to be released this Saturday, which has been a long road, and I'm super happy. And I want to say that you guys really helped me get through a lot of it. I'm a kind of dude that doesn't really I don't really express emotions and shit, but you know, it all gets sucked deep down. And you know, being the Sith Lord of minting, the master of minting, some have said, I needed it, and you guys helped a lot, and I can't wait to continue to you know, do what we're doing here. And you know, that's pretty much it. But I'm gonna jump off. But thank you all, man. You guys have been amazing from day one, and I'm really glad I joined a family like this. So.
Yeah, man, I'm so happy to hear that, my guy. You know, it's kind of been a long road. You know, you kind of kept us posted along the road, and you know, we know you had several bad days and stuff within that. So, you know, I'm ecstatic to hear that. I'm so glad you're, and especially in good spirits. Happy he's coming home. You know, I wish nothing but the best for you and your family. Absolutely, my guy. Thanks for coming up and share that. You know, that definitely brought some positivity up here.
Love to hear it, man.
Yeah.
So happy for you.
Super excited.
Everybody, can you throw up some more
Great to hear.
hundreds? Throw up some hundreds and some closed fists for our guy. Come on. Show him the love.
Thank you guys so much.
That's what I like to see.
Like I said, I really appreciate this family, and I can't wait to become a fucking billionaire with you guys, man. This is gonna be it's gonna be a good you know, it's gonna be a good wait, because that's all it is right now. Everyone is usually worried on Discord, like what's going on with VGX and stuff like that. And you know, the sentiment should really be, you know, I'm really happy this stuff is cheap right now. I'm gonna continue to buy. I'm actually gonna go back to work and do a crap ton of doubles so I can you know, buy some more of that bag. So I can't wait. But $2 ain't shit. You know, it's gonna, we're thinking freaking in the 20s. We're thinking in the hundreds already. Like Binance Coin alone is almost at 500. So that's where we're headed, and we will. So everyone just got to be a little more patient, and you know, this whole group is gonna grow, and we're gonna do some crazy stuff. But I can't wait to continue to work with you guys in a bit. Just give me like a week, and I'll be back at 100%. I promise. Thank you guys for everything, and you know, stay safe. Have a good day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I would say beware the fury of a patient man. We are going to have a furious Vegas celebration soon enough, and it's going to be awesome.
Sounds like a plan. I'm down for that. All right, y'all. Peace out.
Yacht parties all around.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move you down. Thanks again for sharing. That was amazing to hear. You know, that really brought some positivity. I'm so happy to hear that. That, you know, great. That's the little things, man. That's why we preach positivity, because you don't know what everybody's going through. Everybody has bad days. Everybody's going through dark times. You don't know the impact you play on somebody until they get through something, and then it shows. So just, there's too much negativity in the world. Just stay positive. If you're having a bad day, just remember it's going to work itself out. If you're having a bad day and you think negative, it's just going to make it worse. So stay positive. You know, come to Twitter, and if you're having a bad day, try to post something funny. You know, make yourself laugh. Tag me in a post. I got you with a Pepe every time. So thanks everybody for, you know, contributing and helping people. But we'll move on to the next topic. Quick topic I want to bring up is just, you know, we're starting to move up. Yeah, we had, you know, here past day or so it drew back down, but if you see people posting high percentage gains on anything and you're not familiar with that asset or token, I just always lean towards please research. And if somebody's making crazy gains on something, that means it's already gone up crazy percentage. So just always research before, you know, just buying into something. I just want to make a quick spill. And then especially as we move further up, just always keep that in mind, that if somebody's made a few 100% on something, just think about what that means. So, and just always do your own research. I don't care how trusted somebody is. Take it as just, you know, extra bit of information, or maybe some reason to look into a token, instead of just always going balls deep when you see somebody you like going into something, or, you know, getting some returns. But just a quick spill on that. Once again, if anybody has anything they want to ask or share, feel free to request. Go ahead, Thor.
And yeah, to add to that, you know, especially on Twitter and everything, everybody only posts the positive, or at least the majority of people only post their gains. You don't know how much they lost the day before, or if they got liquidated the next day. And again, yeah, if it's that 1,000% gains or something like that, it's usually, I mean, not like it's not too late like all the time, but yeah, do your research. Don't just jump in. People will continue to shill their bags or shill their coin to have that exit liquidity, to hype people up, especially if they're big on Twitter and have a lot of influencers, or have a lot of influence. They'll continue to shill it just so that people are buying when they're selling, because they don't want to, have too much slippage when they're trying to get out of their position as well. So take everything with a grain of salt.
And pay close attention
definitely.
if people are getting paid to tell you to like what they like.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely so. So that's just a quick point I want to make on that. So another big thing that's kind of happened recently is obviously NFTs are kind of, everybody's seen them on their feeds and stuff. So I'm going to give a quick breakdown of NFTs for those that are kind of new to the topic. So NFTs are non-fungible tokens. What that means is basically a fungible token is a asset that you can exchange for something else, and it has liquidity essentially. NFTs are fully illiquid. The value is only in the eyes of who holds it and who's selling it. So you could buy something that's worth $1,000 one day, and the next day nobody wants it and it's valued at zero. There's definitely some solid projects out there, but just like any other token, research it, do your own due diligence, make sure there's something there, make sure the team's solid before ever getting into something. But yeah, I just want to make a quick breakdown of that. But once again, if anybody has any questions or anything, feel free to request and hop up here. I'm going to go ahead and announce the winner. I don't think he's in here, but we've been doing a giveaway for one of Reeves' hats, or a hat he had designed. It was the Voyager logo that kind of he inspired this whole educational idea behind. So his idea behind this was get a panel system for education, and this is what his big thing, and all the VGX Heroes thing was just education and bettering the community. So we've continued to do in this kind of in his honor, and just because it is something that's needed in this space, because a lot of people just get into Twitter and then, they start following people and they just follow the people that they first joined with. So, we fully believe in education, getting everybody the ability to do their own research, know what they're investing in, and understanding the concepts of crypto and not just buying what people tell them to buy. And with that, in our Discord, the link's in mine, Floki, and several other people's bio. But join the Discord. We have a resource tab. Michael has a full playlist, starting from the bare bones of crypto all the way to some higher level stuff. It's just a video after video playlist on YouTube. Definitely check that out if you're kind of new to crypto. And it starts off with just the fundamentals of finance, of why crypto is different, how it fixes the system. And it's just some great knowledge and insight to have, because it betters your decision making and just understanding what you're doing and what you're investing in. But with that, the winner of that hat was VGX Hero Silver Surfer. I don't believe he's in here. I haven't seen him, but definitely shoot him a congratulations on that. And once again, I'm going to say share the space, get more people in here. And with that, we'll kind of move on to the next topic. So I'll move over to Thor with, if you check out the pinned tweet at the very top, if you click on that, it'll bring you to Thor's chart. And I'll let Thor kind of take over with that.
I appreciate that. I actually also, on that pinned tweet, I just put up 2 updates, just to have like a little newer chart. So on the trading view idea, I kind of got frustrated with a lot of the stuff I was seeing. Just overall, just misconceptions, misunderstandings of what VGX is, what's going on, why the chart's so low, or why is it new? I mean, just everything overall. So I kind of just did a whole write-up of what Voyager is, its history, VGX, why it was called BQX, etc., and my belief in where it's going to go in the future. So before I jump into the chart, also I'm never had a formal education on charting. My education from here is essentially losing a bunch of money over the past 4 years, and then I finally started clicking, and
best way to learn.
Things started working. Exactly. But another thing is, fundamentally from Voyager, I believe in the future of Voyager, the future of VGX, where we'll be headed in the next couple of years. And as I think it was Darth had said earlier, I'm buying like every opportunity I get. So because I know it'll hit that all-time high of $7-8, and I know it'll go far beyond that, just purely off of the company and what it is, the leadership team and the community behind it, the VGX heroes. Even like, I mean, you don't see that often. But so as far and so I believe it fundamentally so much that I believe it to a flaw where I ignored some of my TA previously, back when we started downtrending, and from that I've learned, I started kind of looking at both sides. So I'll give you kind of the bearish perspective and my bullish perspective of the chart as well. So what I posted was the 4-hour USD VGX pair, and it was kind of my theory, my idea of what I saw happening or what I thought was going to happen. The chart is brand new, because we had just switched over to the VGX 2.0, and it's just now kind of at least giving us some kind of patterns where we can start making some kind of predictions. But also, you have to keep in mind that the order books are ridiculously thin for VGX. It's super easy to sway the price up and down either way. If somebody market buys like $1,000, it's going to move it up. If someone sells $1,000, you're going to see a candle down. That also plays into effect a little bit. I've drawn the two arrows. I like using Fibonacci retracements pretty frequently, and I had the Fibonacci retracement set, and was using the bottom, which we had seen, the previous bottom, which we had seen on August 31st. Yeah, so it was a little bit harder without screen sharing. I keep moving my mouse around and realizing that nobody sees it. And I had assumed that we were gonna kind of wick down, because I mean, market manipulators, everybody kind of tries to scare you out of your positions. So what I like to look for is a sweep of the lows. Everybody thinks that it broke structure, and then a quick retracement and goes back up, right? So that was my worst case scenario, was that the bottom line. What I didn't take into account was, I mean, the black swan event of everything dumping ridiculously, and then I kind of forgot about how bad the liquidity was, or how thin the order books are as well. So we saw a crazy drop down to that. Wow, on here it's like $1.20. I know I trade a lot on the VGX Bitcoin pair. It went down to 2,000 satoshis. Is ridiculous. I mean, but that's exactly what happens with not only VGX but a lot of coins that have low liquidity, or even, I mean, some of the larger market cap coins with higher liquidity, right? But so from here, it looks like on the, if you look at the updated USD chart, it looks like we're actually kind of forming a descending wedge. We had slightly broken out of it, and now we're back in. We're holding pretty well, especially with VGX. You want to be looking at the candle bodies, because I mean, the wicks, again, if somebody market buys a little bit, it'll shoot up and down, right? It looks like we found support at least a little bit at the 1.618 Fibonacci retracement. Because we are essentially in price discovery on the way down, you want to look at these Fibonacci levels as that are going to be your supports. The wedge it's a nice drawing. I think that we will be sticking in there until we break up to the upside. But I'm looking at this 1.618 as a very strong support. Lose that, I'll be looking at that 2.618 most likely, at $2.15. Again, I mean, there's so many people that understand the value of VGX, what it is. I think it'll be bought up quickly, and we'll end up back in kind of that descending wedge pattern. But as soon as we break out, as soon as we start breaking out, as they said, I mean, it's going to be a rocket. It's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be back to when it was in December 2020, where we went from what, 12 cents to $7, $7.50. And it happens quick. That's just because traders jump in, they see the momentum building, they see that we broke bearish structure. I mean, I would say that that's probably 40 or 50% of the momentum of any coin that's moving is the traders just riding the wave, right? And because of the low order, like low liquidity of BGX right now, this thing will start shooting up because it'll wipe out the sell orders. We'll definitely see some giant candles to the upside. So if you do have like Binance, something like that, I'd recommend having some super high like sell orders, and then even some super low buy orders, because that 0.002 or 2,000 Satoshis would have filled at least a little bit, something. I know that had happened to me back in January or something when we started going up. Like I think it was that first leg up, there was a ridiculously high candle, and I had a bunch of orders stacked like super high, and they all filled. It was like crazy. And then I bought back at the exact same price I had, basically just like had it at before it wicked up. Just kind of like ridiculous luck from there. But so what I'm expecting is, I mean, this whole Bitcoin, what's happening in the crypto market, I think it's, I mean, it's pretty blatant manipulation. I think that they're trying to, this is kind of their final attempt to, liquidate the market, clear everybody's long orders, scare everybody that's not very, experienced in the space, get them out, and then start pushing it up. BGX is going to be one of the leaders of that, for sure, in my opinion. Just because, I mean, we saw what happened in January. It's been downtrending for 4 months now. For me, in my opinion, whenever the longer consolidates, the higher you see the leg up. So what I'm looking for though is a break of this structure. I typically look at that 4-hour structure. So getting a reclaim breaking out of that wedge, retesting that, it holding, and then I expect it to start moving up pretty quickly. And then the first major resistance we'll be looking at is Monday's low. Reclaim Monday's low, and which is at 3.33. We'll be shooting up. Probably even wick to Monday's high at 3.7. The weekly open was right at 3.6. So around that area. And then really from there, it's you get to that 4.3, which is the high, right? If we reclaim that, we're back, we're in price discovery essentially, because right in the beginning that was kind of a I also think it was kind of a flawed wick that went up to that 5.5. But that's when we enter price discovery, and then it's the fun part also. Yes, we might keep downtrending for a little bit, but I am leaning on, the entire market, but Voyager in specifically breaking up within the next, couple weeks. Like I know a lot of people are getting impatient. A lot of people are capitulating. I know a lot of people that had believed in Voyager are now starting not to. And in my opinion, that's usually when it starts reversing. Same with me. I mean, whenever I kind of start doubting something, even like back in January actually, or December when we first broke out, I had an order of 50,000 VGX to sell at 12 cents or at 20 cents because that was the top of the channel. It sold and then went up to that first 30-cent mark or something like that. I ended up rebuying a little bit lower, but like, I mean, not my original cell phone, but that's the type of thing. I lost hope, and then literally the next day, it freaking shot up. Yeah, you look at the fundamentals, and just believe in the fundamentals and believe in the long game. We're here to. This is for me. I look at it as an investment. These charts, it helps you form a thesis, but I mean, especially a chart like this that's been live for less than a month, you can't really give it that much credit. So while it's fun to look at the lines, focus on the fundamentals as well, and know that you're investing in a good project, a phenomenal project, phenomenal team, teams that has done this before with one of the biggest technology companies in the world, Uber, as well as a finance company that revolutionized the trading, like mobile trading, personal trading, with E-Trade. And like Steve killed that. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to work around regulations, like where I work with regulations. And it's just, a time game.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was fantastic. Thank you. Just a few quick points. I have to be that guy. That was not financial advice. That was personal opinion. And for the Satoshis, for those who don't know, it is 1/100 millionth of a Bitcoin. It's just a smaller breakdown of Bitcoin. So theoretically, if the higher Bitcoin goes, it's easier to scale. But go ahead, Floki.
There's 2 points that I wanted to talk about, Thor, that really shined to me was losing hope and momentum, right? We're not alone. A lot of people have similar mindsets all at the same time. So you should slow down and think about that, right? If we're all losing hope at the same time, things drop, big money swoops in, and those whales, and they start to ride it back up because there's momentum behind this crypto market, right? As soon as that trajectory starts either going down, all of us losing hope at once, the big dogs are going to come in and just shift that momentum, and it's going to fly. So I think we've all, experienced that with investing, where we lose hope, bail out, and then what seems to be the next day is just, the gods having fun with us. Whoosh, it flies back up, and we're hitting ourselves in the head. So that's what I wanted to add.
Yeah, we'll move it over to VGX Heroes, then we'll get to you, Version Music, and then we'll move over to you, Texas Yoda. We see you. Just give us just a second.
Yeah, so just quickly, to tie in to what CryptoArt said, being that Voyager is a brokerage, the actual price of the assets, I mean, of course that's important, but Voyager as a company is going to continue succeeding as long as crypto exists and people are using the platform, because they're essentially making money from all of us using it. It's just put simply, these fluctuations, they may not always be in our favor, but as long as people are trading on the app, the company itself is going to continue succeeding.
Yeah, thank you. You go ahead, Version. You got a question for us or anything you want to add?
Yeah, thanks. I just had a question, with the SEC going after Coinbase for their lending product, if any of you guys thought this might, create potential trouble for Voyager and their lending and interest program.
So great question. We knew this was coming up, so that's actually kind of Neil Armstrong. He's kind of got some insight on that. If you want to go ahead, Neil.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for the question. And it's definitely something that I spent some time today researching and digging into. So I think where we should look at is really the difference between what Coinbase is doing and what they reached out to the SEC to, I guess, get some further clarity on. But from what I'm reading, Coinbase is intending to release their own stablecoin. And so they're going to mint their own coin to people that purchase that, and in return give people interest. And it sounds like at any time they can pull their money back out for whatever their principal investment was. So what this basically is, and I saw the SEC Investor Ed educational channel on Twitter, they posted a video today that talked about what bonds were. So you can watch the short video and kind of see where I think that they're trying to point people towards is that you provide an initial deposit, call that your principal, and it's held to some sort of maturity point. And then that principal, while it's held there, retains some sort of value and in turn gets some sort of interest as payment for that principal. And then it seems like where at least the SEC is alluding to with bonds and how this was going out is that initial investment is returned. So that initial principal amount is returned to the individual. So this seems highly specific to Coinbase's offering itself. And this is just me reading the tea leaves. Obviously, we've not seen the details of the program and what they've shared with the SEC, but just kind of piecing together all the information that we have. And there's a New York Times article out that's also talking about the Lend program that I read today. But and how that differs from Voyager and VGX. VGX is not making any promises about the value of their token, their utility token. So think of this like if you were minting a bunch of cards, and you're publishing those things, and some of them may be really good, great cards, some of them may not be, but it's they retain value, they appreciate in value, some of them may depreciate completely. They're making no promises about the value of their token if you hold it. So they're kind of, it seems nuanced, but they're very much different. The expectation isn't there that the value retains itself. And we believe, all of us that are part of this community believe that the token will appreciate, but it is not guaranteed. And with the Coinbase offering, they're saying that you can invest in that token, from what I'm reading, and get your principal back, and you have the interest along the way. And the SEC is basically saying that sounds much like a bond, and they're providing coupons along the way, and you can pull your money back out, and there's no loss. So that's what's kind of different. And I would imagine somebody would have questions about stable coins offered on Voyager's platform. And again, like, Voyager's not minting those tokens. They are just simply custodians of those tokens. You have those tokens, and they're the custodian of those, and they're paying out interest to that, but there's no promise of the value of those tokens. And we're just kind of expecting them to stay stable based upon the offering that the USDC and the USDT, things that are offered out there by others. But that's not a promise by Voyager. They're just kind of relaying upon the interest and things that are back out to the individual, as I'm reading it, for what they provide. So again, these are kind of nuanced things, but piecing together the information that's provided by the SEC and kind of the Twitter thread that the Coinbase CEO is providing as well, kind of lead me down that path. And certainly, if you guys have any other follow-up questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Yeah, and just on this, once again, there's still no perfectly laid out federal regulations for crypto. So this is still a new area until there's like written down on paper regulation and kind of clarification on things. Everything could be, momentarily changed. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's a great point. And the crypto industry is very, very vulnerable to regulatory risk at the moment. It seems like we're very close to passing this infrastructure. The language in there is not very favorable, and they try to make amendments, and it's still kind of going through there, and it's wishy-washy. And we'll have some certainty here going forward, coming soon. But until that gets passed, and until the legislation's actually passed, we won't fully know what our future space looks like, and we're going to be prone to uncertainty until that gets settled.
Yeah, and with that, just keep in mind, as that sounds scary, but of all crypto exchanges / brokerages, Voyager is set up, if not the best, right there with the best, and how they take every approach. And they've been regulated. They were the first to go public. It was on the Canadian exchange first. So even though regulation will come, it's going to hurt the guys that are unregulated and foreign. They're headquartered foreign. It affects them the most. So when these regulations comes, Steve is in place to be ahead of the game and be best placed for when this comes. So just keep that in mind. Any other questions, or did that answer your question, Bergen?
Yeah, that was really helpful. Thanks, guys.
Let's get some hundreds. I'm in the mood for some 100s.
Come on, everybody, quit sleeping. Don't make just us do the hundreds. Tap that heart plus button and hit the 100. There we go. There we go. I see all y'all. I see everybody. Come on, that's what I'm talking about. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and move you down. That was a great question, great insight. Neil, appreciate that. We'll move over to Texas Yoda. Thanks for coming up here, my guy. How are you?
Yoda.
Hey, what's up, guys? Man, thanks. I don't really have a question. I think I just kind of wanted to kind of mirror what Crypto and then Floki were saying. To me, it's not really about losing hope. It's about knowing what you're doing and what kind of trading you're doing with VGX. I mean, a lot of you guys may not know me, the ones that do. I'm a stock trader turned learning crypto. So you guys are awesome. Trying to learn a lot from you guys. But I mean, it's the same thing, right? I mean, I don't go into VGX trying to trade it like I'm trading stocks in my Roth. I mean, I'm in VGX for a long term because I trust in the value and I trust in where Voyager's going. I mean, the fundamentals to me are what matter. So there really is no losing hope. I mean, that's a 10-year play for me now. If you're going into VGX thinking, well, I'm gonna scalp it and flip it in a day, yeah, you're gonna lose hope. I mean, that's you're not gonna see your 1,000% gains on something that's a stable coin, from what I've learned so far. I mean, you guys are gonna laugh, but shit, man, I made a lot of money on Porn Rocket last week just because I was just swapping. I was scalping coins, and I was like, oh, this one's scalpable, let's do it. But I don't hold those for long term like what I'm trying to do with VGX. So I think a lot of the people that are freaking out that I've seen on FinTwit will calm down once they realize. I mean, you have to take a step back and realize, what do you have your money in VGX for? Is it to make a quick buck, or is it to start staking and just continue to build that portfolio?
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate you coming up in here, and thanks for the kind words. And always respect somebody trying to learn crypto, because it's tough. It's you enter and you're like Bitcoin, and then it's a million things, an endless dark hole of knowledge. So it's definitely tough, but it's super fascinating stuff. The deeper you go, the more you want to learn. So definitely happy to have you with us and appreciate that.
Yeah, man, and I'm just stoked you were able to get the Yoda character, man. It worked out so perfectly. So perfectly. And thanks for coming up and talking.
Yeah, Thor, you got something to add to that?
Yeah, I wanted to add a little bit. I mean, especially around what we're investing in and what you're looking at long term. A lot of people come to crypto, especially when they're new, because they're chasing that dream of changing your life. They're chasing that dream of, getting those 1,000% gains, right? But it still doesn't come overnight. You hear the stories like everybody, this guy had this coin, this guy had that coin, became a millionaire. You're much more likely to, just like in traditional, just like in everything else, like much more likely to win in the long term and actually achieve that dream than you are by chasing those coins that literally have it's literally a meme coin, or like literally does not have any fundamental backing behind it. Like, this is an organization. This is on the stock market. They have revenue, so yeah, no matter what, they will still be here, and VGX will still be here as well. Personally, I'm happy that the price is going down. I'm still accumulating, so I just wanted to throw in there as well. Like, the lower it goes, the better.
Definitely. So we'll kind of move on to our next question. It was from somebody in the audience. They shot me a DM. So it's just the question was basically, what's the possibilities for the VGX token? Will there ever be any L1 capabilities? So for y'all that don't know what L1s are, it's basically like the foundation of like Ethereum. So basically projects can be built on them, or they can have smart contracts or things built off of them. So I kind of tag on to Michael to add some quick insight for this question. It was asked by Babe Ruth.
So I know that it gets mentioned a lot because VGX is constantly being compared to the Binance coin, and it's kind of currently apples and oranges. They are similar in that they're both exchange tokens, but the Binance coin, they do have their own smart chain over there, and operationally they're a bit different. So I would say that in the present day, I personally would not expect like-kind gains to what the Binance coin had experienced, but that's not to say that becoming a layer one in the future is never possible, because you never know what the future holds. So to me, I keep a pretty close eye on what's going to happen with like the Kusama or the Polkadot Terra chains, because to me the Polkadot interest at 12% seems to put it front and center at the Voyager platform. It seems to be a friendly bedfellow with Voyager. You don't know what they could potentially have up their sleeve in the future, or what the capabilities of something like that would be. So I wouldn't speculate that far out yet, but I wouldn't say that it'd be impossible for them to ever have their own L1. And it's just right now it's apples and oranges, but it may change over time. So everybody should just kind of do the research on the difference between the two and the similarities between the two, because some of the similarities are also very, they're very aligned in some ways, and there's just a couple key ways in which they're very different.
Yeah, thank you for that. And just to kind of tag on, so look at the VGX token more as like an airline's reward program. That may not sound sexy, but we always often go back to this. When the airlines in the middle of COVID were basically negative valued companies because they were just big pieces of metal that were useless, the only reason they were getting bailed out and getting loans were based off their loyalty programs, because they were valued more than the physical company itself. So for y'all that don't kind of understand that concept, so kind of how the easiest way to do is, if you have a airline credit card, what happens? You only fly with them. Even if it's inconvenient, you stick with them. So Voyager's trying to be an all-in-one platform. It wants to hold your equities. When the debit card comes out, you're getting a routing number. It wants to be your bank, your equities account, your crypto account. It wants to be all in one. So we all use the app. We're all here. We know it's sticky. You get on these other platforms and apps, and it's just confusing. You don't really know what's going on. You don't even know if you're doing something right. Voyager, it's simple. It's it's almost gamified, that it's interesting, and it just keeps you in how it's laid out. You get a nice pie chart. It wants you to buy more, and it's sticky. So it wants to be an all-in-one platform. It wants to be your debit card. Theoretically, it's not directly in the works, but it wants to be your credit card, your equities. So it keeps you in. It rewards holders by paying interest. It rewards you by offering better refer a friend bonuses. It gives you cash back. It's trying to do all these things that will just indirectly and directly benefit the holder of the VGX token. And kind of tagging along on that, people kind of ask the differences in the stock and the token. The easiest way I break that down is the stock is more your traditional AUM, assets under management, your physical finances, kind of your traditional what investors look for, while the VGX token is trying to be more creative and reward the users of the platform, rather than people that are just know it's a growing industry, know it's a good company and it's a growing company. So it's trying to get more creative and have more utility. It wants to be, they're going to do things that kind of interconnect their equities and along with to help benefit VGX holders. They are very high on the VGX token. They want everybody that's holding the VGX token to be rewarded for doing so. So while we're not B&B, we have a lot of good things going that's outside of that. So that's kind of what I'd have to mention on that.
That's a 100 right there.
Thanks, my friend. But yeah, great questions, guys. We're a little over halfway, so I'll go ahead and mention Crypto Airborne is streaming this live right now, and it will be posted after this. So if you missed any part of this or want to rewatch any points that you're interested in, feel free to jump over there. Shout out Floki, the boat builder himself. Shout out Michael, Thor, Neil Armstrong for being up here. If you're not following the VGX Hero Twitter page, please do so. Going forward, we're trying to push all VGX Hero information through there, and we wanted to get to 600 so we can host this through the VGX Hero Twitter page, just for more convenience, and it just it makes a lot of sense. Thanks everybody that's in here. A quick break to say, can somebody raise their hand for me? Somebody raise their hand emoji for me. Raise your hand. Let me see. Where's the first one? Raise your hand. Not seeing a raised hand yet. Come on. Somebody do it. I got a giveaway for you. Come on. Nope, nobody in the panel. It's a giveaway. There we go. Buzz Lightyear got it. So Blockchain Bots is doing a giveaway for one of their bots. He donated it to the stream. So congrats, Buzz Lightyear. Get with Blockchain's bots to get your free NFT. Shout out the bots for doing that for us.
Nice.
Hey, Babe Ruth, how are you, my guy? Oh, he's still connecting. There you go. Got something to add to us, or any questions or anything?
I don't know if you were talking to me. I'm going to assume you were.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Okay, so I appreciate you guys taking the time to discuss the difference between VGX and Binance. I've heard it brought up a few times as if they were apples to apples, and I just think it's dangerous to try to compare values. But while you were talking about that, I did pull up Cellcoin, which is to me a closer comparison on coin type, and I would say VGX even offers more than what Cell offers at this point. And just as a comparison, Cell's market cap is 2.5 billion, and from what I just looked up on VGX, it's 55 million. So I think we got a lot of room to run.
Yeah, let's be crazy careful about comparing ourselves to Cell too much, though, because Cell is a security, and that's the biggest reason why American Celsius customers don't get their interest paid in Cell. So that's a completely different cluster.
Well, I think it's a lot closer than comparing it to Binance Coin.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for intrinsic value on the way people look at things, I think we're getting a lot closer there. I'd be happy to hear if someone thinks there's a better comparison, but it's important to have comparisons when you're looking at projects. And I've just heard Binance brought up a lot, and that's, to me, very dangerous because what they're doing is completely different. So I don't know if anyone has some ideas on what's a closer comparison.
So I agree. When people talk about Binance Coin, I think it's very dangerous. I think Celsius is a great comparison, just as far as looking at the functionality and like some type of similarity. I also like CRO, Crypto.com's coin. That's a good comparison as well. I heard you say though that you looked up VGX's market cap and it was 55 million. I think CoinGecko and a couple, they're still adjusting to it. I would look at it on the app because right now I believe it's around 900 million.
Okay, yeah, I thought that was low.
Yeah, that's correct. It's closer to $1 billion.
Yeah, that's another thing I'd like. I don't know if we've ever brought this up in these discussions, but the CoinGecko data, it would be nice if that could be fixed because people that don't know VGX and look at those charts are going to have a little bit of concern looking at that crazy dip that happened on that chart.
Yeah, always lean towards always go to CoinMarketCap for the best data that's with all coins. They tend to be the closest and most accurate. CoinGecko, they've had issues with several coins over the past. I don't know where they pull their info or how it does that, but I would, for strict finances and like market caps and ranks and stuff, I would always lean towards CoinMarketCap.com.
Yeah, I do think they all take turns being complete shit too, though. Because CoinMarketCap's had its fair share of issues too, and I think that unfortunately, what we're coming to find out, there's a handful of things that I think people are just going to have to realize over time about the difference between them being a brokerage versus an exchange. It's these little kind of nuances about how the oracles are pulling the coin data that presented themselves all throughout the swap when everybody thought that they were either rich or poor from 1 minute to the next when it was either $7 or 3 cents and all that fun stuff. Even incidents like during the dip that just happened this week, everybody started to quickly attack Voyager because it's scaling. But really, to what extent is it even in Voyager's control if they ultimately can't facilitate a trade because all of the other market makers that they work with aren't making book right now? So I think that they're unfortunately in a position where they're going to catch the flack for a lot of things that aren't their fault and aren't in their control. And I think that the best that we could do is make sure the people, to the best that we can, understand that, because what do you want them to do? Make book in an illiquid market when 8 out of 10 brokerages or 8 out of 10 exchanges are not currently functional? It's the catch-22 because everybody's got market orders that were sitting there in limbo, but you really want them to fill a market order for that wick that went down to, if somebody was trying to sell VGX and they had a market sell because they were panicking, you really want them to fill it on that wick that went down to whatever it was, $1.10, $1.05, something obnoxious because it was just a Binance flash crash. So I think that they take precaution and they put it into system maintenance when their bookmakers aren't being reliable, but they're unfortunately the punching bag in between the customer and where the real problem lies.
Yeah, if Voyager's the hotels.com of crypto and the hotels are busted, I mean, can you really blame hotels.com?
Got anything else out of that, Babe Ruth?
No, I'm looking up the Crow right now. Actually, I just wanted to get a comparison, but I appreciate the insight.
Yeah, no problem. That was a good question. Thanks for asking, because it is a good conversation to be had. That everybody likes to jump to the BNB because they saw BNB go from a few bucks to 800 in a matter of weeks. But yeah, we have a lot less going on. I mean, they had a full operating smart chain that was getting a ton of dApps and other things built on it, and every shit coin there for a month was getting pumped through them. So
Yeah, the Ethereum congestion really made that go off the charts. So
yeah, absolutely.
KCS could be a good
Yeah,
comparison.
beat me to
by
it.
the way.
I was literally I was researching it. Yeah, KCS and Nexo, I think, would be the two closest. And I literally just looked up their market caps. They're literally identical to Voyager right now.
That's what you get for not being up here, for leaving the speaker.
Boot me again. That was it.
But yeah, great conversations, guys. Another question I have that's kind of determined is, I'll push it over to Michael, but kind of getting into APR, APY, because a lot of or a lot of confusion with that, not understanding fully the difference, or that there is a difference.
Yeah, so this came up in a Spaces the night that the VLP went live. I saw Voyager Duck created a Spaces, and the conversation gravitated to, APR versus APY and the difference. So just to try to run everybody through some rounded numbers so that you can kind of get a sense of it. APR and APY, if interest was paid once a year, would be equivalent. But one takes into consideration compounding and the other does not. So if you're getting APR, like what Voyager is quoting all their rates in APR, you're essentially every month getting the interest payment for, if you're assuming 30 days to a month, 30 out of 365 times the APR times the amount of holding that you have, and then that's continuing to compound. So when the next month rolls around, you're getting that same APR, but now on more principal than the month before. Whereas APY is actually taking smaller bites of the apple. APY is telling you that after all of the compounding, and a lot of the weekly will they'll give you a nice APY number and they'll tell you that they're paying you weekly, but because they're compounding it weekly, they're actually paying you less APR and just compounding it more frequently. And the APY is what you're ultimately resulting with at the end of the day. So just a quick thought experiment for everybody. Assume that you've got an APR of 12% like we have with Polkadot. And if you were to get paid your interest once a year, your APR and APY would be equal, 12%. But now compound it monthly, like what we get from Voyager. So your 12% APR is actually growing your balance each month. So each subsequent month, you're getting 12% APR on a higher balance, i.e. compounding interest. So at the end of the day, while your APR was 12%, your APY, which is what it felt like after compounding, was actually 12.34%. So if you take that in reverse, if Voyager's competitors price things in APY, what they're actually telling you is that your APR is lower than their advertised rate because it relies on the compounding in order to even attain those APY rates that are advertised. So by Voyager paying us an APR, we're actually getting an even higher number than what's advertised when you look at it in APY terms. And if you look at their competitor like Celsius, they quote all their shit in APY and they brag about compounding weekly. But what they fail to mention is that the APR is thereby much lower than the APY, and it's dependent on that weekly compounding to even achieve that number.
They say that compounding interest is the eighth wonder of the world, guys.
Absolutely, my friend. And yeah, thanks for quickly going over that, because that is a topic that not a lot understand, and it's good insight to have, so for future knowledge. But I want to take a quick minute to push it over to Floki, kind of go over VGX heroes, because these spaces are for based on the VGX heroes and our educational team and the Discord. So kind of give him a quick moment to just talk about the VGX heroes.
Oh man, I just did a bunch of writing on this stuff a couple of days ago, but essentially, we're here to all reach the same goal together despite our differences. We're stronger together. We're here to celebrate the individual. That's why we don't allow duplicate heroes. It's because everybody's different. They have a different opinion. There's objective thinking. There's non-binary thinking, right? Most of life is gray. There's very little that is black and white out there. So, being respectful towards other people's truths and your own, it takes work, and we're here to essentially try to find harmony in the never-ending war of opinions that is the internet. We're here to support each other, to uplift each other. Our three pillars are community, education, and governance. And I could let Aragorn speak to that, but deeper than that, I think it's about, that I mentioned the right way of thinking with perspective involved, as well as forgiveness and accountability. It's really important that we all grow together. Otherwise, what? We're just stuck. And we're here to set our differences aside and make some freaking money together, right? We're here to contribute to our investment in the way that we want, that's unique to us. And, VGX Heroes just wants to enable everybody to find what it is that they're passionate about and how they want to twist that essentially to help push prices, right? And make and not necessarily control sentiment, because we can't control anything, we can't control anyone, but essentially push the narrative to a positive, supportive atmosphere versus, FUD and twisted and cynical speculation and fear.
Well,
so
to that end, I think what
yeah.
we do is we help people tune out the noise so that they can focus on the signal.
Yeah, I could ramble. Go check out what I wrote the other night if you really want to dig into all these little things that I said. I had some fun with it. I enjoy being creative, but I want to hand it off to Aragorn to speak more on the hero stuff, because he's the yin to my yang and he's my brother. And yeah, I want to hear his voice.
Yeah, he's not up here as speaker yet. I keep inviting him, so we'll wait for him to hop up here under the peer pressure. But just a quick shill. Definitely join our Definitely hold up. Just
can you hear me?
Yeah. Definitely join our Discord.
It's connecting.
We hear you.
I muted him real quick, but so our Discord, we have a lot of different groups in there. We have a charting channel. We have our VGX specific general talk. We have other crypto talk. We have arts and craft. Like, we have all kind of stuff in there, and we have a lot of super sophisticated people that are good at different specific areas. And within Discord, we like people to talk and do what they like to do, and we don't want anybody to talk or do something they don't like to do. So in there, it gives everybody an opportunity to go to a specific area and learn specific what they want to know. So it's easy to get the knowledge you're looking for in one area. And it also lets people, like for me and Michael, Thor, and a few others, we hang around the charting channel a lot just because that's kind of our thing. So anybody that wants to learn charting or wants something charted, you can just hop in there and we can get in some deep level. We'll be in the middle of the night and just start talking about fibs. So it's just, we get some good conversation, but definitely join that if you're not. It's a lot at first. Just know you can mute channels and it makes the pings less. But I had to drop a quick shield for that. But I'll pass over to Aragorn.
I'm gonna hang on. I'm gonna interrupt real quick too. So on that note, we're also front running kind of the Voyager and Market Rebellion JV that's coming down the pike too. So we do have an options and equities channel in there too, and we're not just crypto focused now. So there's all the extracurriculars that Pepe had mentioned, but we're also probably the most active new channel I think that sprung up is this options and equities channel. And there's folks in there that are paid analysts in other Discords. There's a ton of crazy good content in there. So for some of the people that came on stage earlier today that were primarily stock traders or equities and options traders, there's a home for you in there too while you're figuring out the rest of this stuff. And now, Aragorn, it's all yours.
Also, good write-up, Chloe. I read that last night. That was great. Had to add that in because I appreciate that.
Thanks, man.
I would say the biggest, my number one strength on Strength Finders is activator. So if anything, I'm realizing how little I can do in the grand scheme of things. And so I want to empower each and every one of you. And so I would say probably the biggest activation step on Twitter anyone can do is a feature on Twitter called bookmark. So bookmark tweets. And basically anytime you see something helpful for heroes related or Voyager related, whatever, just bookmark that thing. So that way, because even if you tag like me or Floki or any of us in it, like hopefully we get around to it, but also like you guys know like just as much, at least to get people in the door. So I would say if anything, relay them to our Twitter page or Discord, and from there we're trying to automate, that process as much as possible. That way we don't lose people kind of on the front end, because we want our Discord and our Twitter to be as sticky as possible. We just need to get them there first.
Yeah, if you relay anyone to the VGX Heroes Twitter, we will definitely get to you. I mean, Aragorn and Floki are definitely the front runners that have been taking care of things, and I'm sure will continue to do so within their time constraints. But
yeah,
if you ever DM VGX Heroes Twitter or hop in the Discord, someone will definitely get to you.
Yeah, and I would say if Twitter's more your speed instead of Discord, we have a huge need for just general recruiters. And we don't necessarily mean that you need to go all all spammy like Big Tico, but you can just like if you're bored for an hour, you can literally just search VGX and then like scroll through. And if anyone doesn't like really seem like they're a VGX hero, just go from one of your bookmark tweets, copy and paste it into there and say, hey, if you like VGX, you'd love VGX heroes. Something as simple as that. And if we all just chip in a little bit, like it's crazy, especially with the Gronk tweets. I just did a little bit of searching and I realized that there were in an easy 5-minute stretch, there were people tagging VGX heroes that weren't VGX heroes. And I was like, okay, we're starting to catch on. People are doing it, like just seeing Steve do it and other people, and they don't even know what we are. And so I was like, hey, they can't get all the glory and just do this. We need to capture, some of these people. So I think we need some recruiters. We're doing a good job within Discord, but we've kind of lost that recruiting edge a little bit. So
yeah, absolutely. Sorry about that. My phone just decided to completely crash and restart. But
nobody,
yeah, definitely good insight.
Nobody but me and the people in the Discord knew you were gone.
Yeah, we didn't exist 3 months ago, and now I have friends that are going to last me for the rest of my life. I know nobody in this space, zero. And I got back, was like 13 days ago from flying across the country and spending time with these guys. It's a family here. As hard it is to believe a violent Viking going all kumbaya.
And a Pepe.
Yeah, VGX Heroes is what you make it. So if you want friends and family, you'll find it here. And if you just want someone to hear you, you'll find it here. If you just want to post gifts and have a good time, you're in the right place.
Absolutely. We'll move over to Ladarian. You got moved up here while I was gone, but you got a question for us, bud? Can you hear us? While we're waiting for him, I just like to add on, and with everything, I'll go back to what I said in the beginning. It's just all about positivity. You don't know the impact you make on somebody. Negative comments, there's too much negativity in the world. It doesn't do good for anybody. All it does is it just ends up pissing yourself off if you're being negative. So just, always try to find the best in things. Be positive. If somebody has a different opinion, try to get in a good conversation with them. See their point of view, learn something, because there's something to learn from everything. Some people have their preset opinions and they won't change, but it's always good to hear people out. And some people are just, maybe they had a bad experience and they just need someone to reassure them that it was a freak thing and it's not how it is for everybody, and it's better than that. So just try to talk people, and if somebody has a different opinion, don't just attack them. That's not what we're about. That doesn't do any good for us, Voyager, yourself. You'll just end up getting in a conversation of just shit talking each other back and forth, and that's just not what anybody's here for. Crypto Twitter's toxic enough. You see all these communities that are just toxic as can be, and that's not what we're trying to be. We're trying to spread education, spread positivity. I live by the belief of make the world a better place. nobody wants to, like, there's too much negativity, too many problems in the world. Trying to make it better, build something, it makes a huge impact. Like we heard from Darth earlier, you don't know the impact you make on somebody's life. One small hey to somebody that has one follower, they may not get that, because most of us came into crypto Twitter with anonymous account for news, and we had no followers, 5, 10, 50, whatever. And now we have a whole family, and that makes a huge difference. Like, I can get on Twitter and just see positivity, just tag, say something nice, and just have a good time. And it's not everybody gets that experience, and it's often forgotten what it's like to be a small account. You can make a huge impact with just one nice hey, how are you, or how'd you get into crypto, and just talking to somebody, because getting your voice heard means a lot to a lot of people. So just a small comment on that.
Yeah, and I will say too, not that you can never feel critical of anything too, but I would just advocate that anybody that does have any kind of criticism to bring forward, just try to bring it in the most constructive way possible. And maybe it's the old man employer in me, but don't just come just to bitch and moan, but at least propose a solution to whatever it is that you think you didn't like, and also be open to hearing a defense of why some things just are the way they are. But at the very least, I saw actually a lot of constructive, positive feedback this week with some things that people were either concerned about or didn't understand properly, or just were not 100% thrilled with. But I also saw that accompanied with, some of the more constructive feedback and solutions that I think I've seen. And it wasn't just grandstanding and soapboxing just to bitch just to be heard. I saw people with actual constructive ideas, like, as an alternative, I would have liked to have seen this or X, Y, Z. And, with compassion and understanding is, this may not be within the realm of possible, but if it were, I think that, ABC would translate pretty well to the community. I think that feedback like that is not unwelcome. And I don't want it to feel like it's all fanboys and moonboys and you can't speak without getting, crucified. That's not the community that we're looking to build either. But I would like for everybody on, both sides of any issue to just at least try to have constructive conversation about it.
And just to tie in a little bit to what you said as far as community and voice, I noticed that the investing guy _Anto3000 popped in here. He's got his YouTube channel. Not to take away from anyone else, I know Crypto Airborne is helping us a lot, but Anto made this great how to become a VGX hero video. So, if you've got friends or if you yourself have not joined the Discord or become a VGX hero or are curious about that kind of thing, investing guy Ento3000, he made a great video on the how-tos and all about it. So thank you for that.
Banjo Kazooie, man, I offered you the mic if you want to say something, and thank you, Sun Tzu, for bringing that up. You're absolutely correct.
Hey, Ladarian, can you hear us now?
Yeah.
See.
Yeah, I'm here.
There you go. Yeah, you're a little staticky, but we can hear you now. You got a question for us, my guy?
I just wanted to talk about the debit card, because I posted a tweet. I probably deleted it, but I was talking about, I looked at crypto.com's debit card, and they offer stuff. Oh, yeah, I don't know what.
Give us just a second. Okay. There he goes.
But with their debit card, they offer such as 100% back on like Netflix subscription, Prime subscription, all that extra stuff for higher tiers. Do you believe Voyager will get into something like that with their debit card? That's what I wanted to talk about, because I believe that's just a big thing. Maybe it will trick people's
yeah, so I'll speak on that for a little bit.
Yeah, I got something too. Go ahead.
All right, we'll do. We're not, once again, we're not directly affiliated. We don't have insider knowledge, but Steve's very open to new ideas and different things with that. So I absolutely see him getting creative with it and trying to match or have different advantages to it. That's what I would add to it. But you can go ahead, Foki.
It's not a no. It's not a not yet. It's not a maybe. It's not a yes. I think the unknown is an upside for Voyager. If that's something that they wanted to do, I'm sure they could figure something out. So I'd say it boils down to the unknown is an upside for the VGX token and the VLP, and the debit card and anything. Like, they can gain, they could do a lot of really cool stuff. So fingers crossed. And that's what's all about, getting the feedback and ideas out to them. I think getting recurring payments like Netflix and other things like that, additional rewards, makes sense. And it would be a great incentivization for people to choose us. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. And then I also want to add on, just for everybody that's listening, I got into Ethos before it was Voyager at $1.70. We watched the whole thing go down to a cent, and now we're here. So just to tell everybody, just be patient. It's great to be in a project that Steve is actually voicing, on Twitter, voicing himself and all that. That's where it all comes down to. It'd be different if he wasn't saying nothing and we were just all left with what's going on. So like I said, just be patient. Like I said, I didn't see the whole process. Like I said, I literally got into this project at $1.74 and watched it go down to a cent. And I was so grateful that it went down to a cent. And especially with the whole COVID situation, we was getting money from the government. So I was so grateful for that situation. So there's a lot of people that y'all should take advantage of the situation that we are in now, because who knows what the future can hold. It can go up to $20 and you'll look back and be like, damn, I wish I would have bought right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's just for all the listeners out there. Be patient. It's a great project. And Steve is a great CEO. If he keeps talking and he's interacting with us, then we're perfectly fine. That's what I personally believe. So.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And, thanks for sharing. You're a longtime holder. I love hearing from people that have been in for the ride, and, congrats. People like to call you lucky, but it's more than that. You were a smart investor. You saw, even though maybe at the time it wasn't Voyager, but, you made a hell of a decision. Congrats on that. We're happy to have you. Thanks for the positivity, my guy.
That's all I wanted to say. Yeah. So y'all have a great night. Y'all stay safe. And then, yeah.
To reinforce, yeah, thanks for speaking, man. And to reinforce that real quick, one of my favorite shows is Ozark, and one of the quotes is, "Never let a good disaster go to waste," or something like that. And making sure you have extra dry powder around and not aping in everything you got all at once, puts you in a position to actually make a big move if disaster were to strike. I don't think we're in disaster mode right now, nowhere close to it. But COVID, I mean, perfect opportunity to start investing if you have the dry powder.
Absolutely. Neville Patterson, thanks for hopping up here. You got a question for us or anything to add? And we'll move over to you next, Neil.
Hey, I just wanted to add to, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I just wanted to add to what he was talking about with the credit card. If you go on the Voyager app or on the actual website and look under About and look at the team and go clear down to the bottom and look at the partners and just look at some of the partners that Voyager has. I mean, AWS is one of them. It's Amazon Web Services. Google's another one. I mean, so there is possibilities of Steve. Steve has a wide reach. And so there is possibilities of stuff like that coming to the app along with the VLP.
Yeah, definitely so. Thanks for sharing. And a quick note on that. I mean, it's not talked about that much, but they did bring in the guy responsible for scaling up Uber. While maybe not the most profitable company, the Uber success, they revolutionized, passenger transport, and they grew from an idea to everybody has the app on their phone. So that's, they have some huge people. But I'll move over to Neil. You got something for us, my guy?
Yeah, I think just as we watch the type of rewards or things that may come in and programs that may come in with the debit card, you always referenced earlier about some of the subscription services that would come free. Like I just did some quick calcs there. Like if, let's say it's $30 a month and you do that for 12 months, well, you have to stake $400,000 to get that kind of service. And that equates out to 0.09% return. So, try not to be so flashy about what is out there, but let's look at what actually is provided and what we get in return. And some of those things may be important in the short term, but in the long term, we want to have somewhat of a very solid foundation to build off of, and make sure that we're comparing about what is actually provided, not just necessarily what it is and what we have to give up in order to get what we're getting.
Absolutely. And go ahead, VJX Heroes.
Yeah, so again, I'll keep it short. I have experience with crypto.com. I have their debit card. I do receive the free Spotify. But to what Neil said is, I was fortunate enough to get into that early, and crypto.com underwent a lot of scrutiny because they had a CRO token and an MCO token. And at some point, against the wishes of a lot of their users, they dissolved one of the two, which was MCO, and turned everything into CRO, which was a big debacle, and a lot of people lost money on that, et cetera, et cetera. Basically, I still hold the card. I still have my minimum amount just to hold the free Spotify. But when you look at the CRO token, it's not really going anywhere. And in addition to that, it's a foreign company. So I had to connect my bank account in order to transfer to them and incur foreign transaction fees, et cetera, et cetera. So, these are all things to consider when you're looking at different apps that may provide what seems like a better incentive. So it's important to do your research and make sure you know what you're really getting, because at the end of the day, if I hadn't been early to that at this point, I'd question whether it's really worth it, as opposed to staking your VGX and getting 7% there.
Yeah, and a quick note on the debit card. I hate to be the patience guy, but we will all be able to have one, but don't expect everybody to have it day one. Just a quick note on that. It's a big ordeal to roll out a debit card. So kind of expect it probably be a batch system or something. So, just whenever the time comes that you can apply for one, do it and just be patient with it, because if they roll out 10 million debit cards at once and there's some kind of flaw, it's going to be a disaster. So just when it starts coming out, be excited, but just understand, everybody's not going to get one day one. Just a quick note on that to kind of avoid future confusion with that.
Well, I would hope too there might be ways for them to benefit off of that hype too, because if you look at what Fold or BlockFi did when they put their cards out, they put wait lists in place and there were different benefits. They used that as a referral incentive to help cut people and cut the line and get in sooner. So they used that as a huge way to drive up their customer base, even though people were waiting in line for something that they really didn't want to wait for. It created this competition to drive new customers to the platforms, and both of them, I have different opinions of both of them. I'm a big fan of Fold. I'm not a big fan of BlockFi, for the obvious reasons. But they both were quite successful at driving a ton of users to their platform, just in the creative ways that they turned a wait list, which sounds like a negative thing, into a huge marketing tool. And they basically turned their entire population into a guerrilla marketing team.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, Crypto Airborne is streaming live, and it will be posted after this. So if you missed any part, came late, have to leave early, definitely check that out. And even if you've watched it, rewatch it again, get that man some views. Support all our content creators. We got him, DJ, the finance channel, the investing guy. We got Mike the investor. We got, I know I missed some, but we have several YouTube creators out there that are all creating different great Voyager content.
Evolutionary Abundance is out there in Hawaii. She's got a ton of content coming up.
Yeah, I was about to say, every day we're getting more and more YouTubers on board, so I don't have to listen from me. Trying to get them all memorized, but yeah, definitely check them all out. Support them. Drop a subscription to them. All the support helps every one of them. But yeah, Texas Yoda, I know he does some form of streaming. I can't remember what he's on, but yeah, definitely support all our content creators. We got about 15 minutes left, so feel free to get up here if you have any last minute questions. We don't bite. We love to hear from anybody. But in the meantime, just kind of speak on, I'll probably question for Neil or Michael. September 20th is coming up on the portal closing. So if you kind of want to touch on that for a little bit.
What do you say, Neil? You tokenomics guy? We normally have Stone Cold up here for this. This is his specialty. But I'm not the most familiar with the mechanics of the token burn are going to be like, to be perfectly honest. I know that the entire community is anxious for the window to close, and there are mixed feelings about it being extended, although it sounded like it was the intelligent business decision to make, and that Steve wouldn't have made that decision had it been, not in the best interest of the company and the community. But I think we're all looking forward to it just being done and closed, and probably never hear the word arbitrage in the Voyager context again.
Absolutely. The finance channel actually just hopped in. I'd love to get you up here, Daniel. You have some great insight. I'd love to hear some, the stock side of it. People love to hear that type of stuff. We did a lot of VGX tonight. So if you want to come up here, my guy. There we go. How are you? For anybody that doesn't know, he's located in Canada, so he doesn't even have the app, and he's been making YouTube content for months and months on it. So just show your support. Everybody throw up 100 for my guy.
And he's wicked smart.
May not be cooperating for him, but
Hello, sorry. It takes like 30 seconds for me to switch onto a microphone, but thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I don't know. I kind of cut out for the last like 10 seconds here. I don't know. Was there a question or?
No, I just saw you hop in and you kind of moved to the top of my screen. So just try and get some, stock insight just because we haven't touched on that much tonight.
Oh, totally. I mean, I'm assuming you've already touched on the whole Gronkowski partnership, and I don't know what your thoughts are on the whole Coinbase situation with lending and the potential impacts that might have. I still have to research that a little bit, make a video on it. But yeah, a lot of exciting stuff happening here, and obviously some more discounts with the token and the stock. I think we can all, although a little bit frustrating and maybe a bit of a positive to accumulate a little bit more. At least that's how I look at it, right? The positive and the negative. So yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff happening. That's kind of my thought process, and I'll just kind of chime in whenever you guys have a question or something.
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of touched on some of that earlier. The Crypto Airborne streaming it, so if you want to catch up on that. But we actually didn't touch on the Gronk too much. As a huge sponsorship. I mean, I think he has something like 2 million Twitter followers, 4 million Instagram followers. Great promotion, great getting Voyager's name more household. Giveaways get people's attention, even if they don't download the product. They're putting their name right there with it. So that's a great place to go reach out to some NFL people that aren't in crypto, and just kind of get them introduced, kind of how Aragorn was talking on earlier. But, some people, it wasn't exactly what they were looking for, but, he got VGX in there, great personality to have on our side. So, it's plenty more to come with that.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, he's a brand ambassador as well. And I think that's something that people, might skim over a little bit. He now has ownership in the company through the stock. He owns the VGX token. So he has an extra incentive to actually, get the name of Voyager out there, whether that be, through further commercials and advertisements, through, we know that is planned, or potentially through further, just expansion in general throughout the NFL, which is such a huge market. You point out, the guy has, 5 million Instagram followers, 2-3 million on Twitter. That's just the beginning, right? Because when you look at, the NFL in general, how many people view that, his Instagram followers, don't even compare to how many people actually watch the NFL on a regular basis. And, he's one of the biggest names in the NFL. And I think that's something very important to understand, that, they now have a major connection in it.
Absolutely. Arguably the greatest
exactly,
ever.
But, outside of the NFL, I believe it was either last year or the year before, he was one of the hosts of the ball drop for New Year's in New York City.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a huge name.
Yeah, Michael, you had something to add to that?
Yeah, so Daniel, I'm going to ask you a question, flip it around for a little bit instead of standing up here answering them. So I know with the Trevor Lawrence deal with Blockfolio, or when he first signed with the Jags there's a lot of criticism that he immediately took that bag and then liquidated it for cash. And I know that Steve was also critical of that move, but do you know of any kind of precedent for any of these future deals, or even possibly any of the current ones, like this one with Gronk, for kind of treating the crypto payment portion similar to warrants, where there's a vesting period where they'd be contractually obligated to hold for a set period of time, or do you know one way or the other if that is one doable, or there's any kind of regulatory preclusion of that type of a structure, or two, if that's something that could be pursued?
Yeah, so it's definitely doable, I'll tell you that. And I look at Steve and what he did with Coinify is he got a lot of the management team over there under options or warrants that expire at some point in the future, whether that be a year out, a year and a half. And I'm just pulling up the article here because I just want to see a shareholder VGX token. So they didn't go really too specific with that, but I'm very confident that Steve potentially, the same way he did with Coinify, potentially slip something in that makes it so that he has to stay with Voyager for some period of time, not a situation where, he's got to leave immediate, or he has the option to leave immediately, which, that is a potential risk. But I don't think they'd make him a brand ambassador if he wasn't going to stay with the company. And you look at something like, Tom Brady, he's also, pretty heavily involved with another, I think it's a crypto exchange. I'm not sure exactly what the name is, but
yeah, he's with FTX.
Yeah, FTX, right? So I think, I don't see that as that big of a risk, and especially knowing that Steve potentially, right? This is just speculation at this point, may have done something along those lines, of potential warrants expiring in the future. I'm confident that, this will be a long-lasting relationship, and at the end of the day, that is what we want to see. So
right. Well, I know there's precedent for the equity and the warrant side of the house. I just wasn't sure if there was a similar mechanism for the actual token, because he's getting partially paid in token as well. So I didn't know if there was a way of preventing the token from just being liquidated.
I haven't heard of anything like that. It could be something over the longer run that companies adopt as cryptocurrencies become more, mainstream, obviously, but there is no doubt. Yeah, go for it.
Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
You had a question for us real quick?
I have no question. I only have answer.
Go ahead.
No, you ask question.
Oh. All right, go ahead, continue.
He's been knocked.
Yeah, continue.
Yep. So I mean, as cryptocurrencies develop, seen the laughing emojis. As cryptocurrencies develop, you may have a situation where you're able to implement those type of things, but I haven't heard of anything like that at this point. I don't think, maybe with stocks, token, I think a slim chance. That's the answer.
So I've seen this more so in IDOs and things like that, but there are applications out there where it's essentially a vesting schedule for the coins. I don't know if Voyager would necessarily be using a third party for that, or actually, yeah, but not like one of those like sketchy IDO third parties. But I've definitely seen it been done, and like y'all were saying, I mean, Steve's tenured in this, and I feel like he definitely wants to make sure that he crosses his T's and dots his I's, and especially with all the criticism he's been getting from the whole token swap being delayed, and the coin going down, etc. It's a lot of heat that, I mean, if you're kind of the face of the company, that you want to be avoiding, especially after already having that for a longer period of time.
Definitely so.
They're BFFs, so it's locked in.
Man, I love that video. I don't know about you guys, but it's not pushy in any way, shape, or form, and I think that's something that they're going to explore moving forward here. Not having pushy ads, which you tend to see online, something that shoves the platform down your throat. It's something that just it's a fun ad, really sticks with you, and I like that aspect of it. And they did mention NFTs, releasing an NFT through Voyager for Good to benefit the Gronk Nation Youth Foundation. So I don't know, what do you guys think about NFTs? And I know the companies actually, or some of the co-founders have talked about this, but do you see potential with that?
Yeah, definitely so. So actually, when we went to Daytona, Steve loves the idea of NFTs. He's even asked us to kind of get him some NFTs of different things, and like I personally showed him the NFT because of our first VGX here at Space. He was in there talking, and I got a screenshot of it. Actually, DJ Crypto got the screenshot, and we got it minted, and I showed him that, and he loved it. So he loves NFTs, and I know there's been rumblings of trying to potentially an NFT marketplace at some point. But we'll see. But he definitely is a big fan of NFTs, and with that specifically being mentioned, that he wants the NFTs are part of the Gronk ambassadorship. So I definitely see it coming down the pipeline in some form or fashion.
Yeah, I mean, it would just make sense, right? You kind of implementing that. We know their vision is being that overall all-in-one lifestyle financial app, right? So NFTs, it would be a part of that, right? So I do think the co-founder has one of the co-founders, I don't know exactly what the name is, but he's kind of tweeted things around the idea of NFTs, and I think, yeah, definitely coming down the pipeline, and I think it's an exciting opportunity, totally. Maybe even with the Cardano network, because obviously, you have platforms right now solely based off of, you don't really have one that really incorporates the different, Solana networks and Ethereum. So kind of building it all into one, a lot of opportunity, totally.
Definitely so. We're coming up with just a few minutes left. We appreciate there's a lot of people in here, but we're going to try and limit it to just strict 2 hours and not, kind of overdo them, respect everybody's time. Once again, this is being streamed live on Crypto Airborne's YouTube. So if you missed any part of it, you can check up later. A quick shield. The education team and panel up here, we put a lot of time in this in the back end. It just seems like a 2-hour AMA where we prepare questions, we game plan multiple times a week over it. So we'd really appreciate if you're not following us, drop us a follow. Me personally, I'm trying to get to 600 to host more informal spaces where I can kind of get more one-on-one interaction with every hero I can. Love talking to everybody. Once again, appreciate everybody coming in here. Try and get some final thoughts from maybe Floki and Aragorn on just the VGX heroes, and then we can kind of wrap it up.
Yeah, and keep your eyes peeled for a poll probably this week too about time. We did experiment this week with an earlier run. We were doing 10 to 12 Eastern. This time we did 8 to 10. I have a feeling we're probably going to end up settling in on a split the difference at 9 to 11. But keep your eyes peeled for a poll and give us some input as to what works best for the community as well.
I feel like I've said everything that I've said. Thank you for saying that, Michael. Maximus, if you're listening, VGX hero number 1. I think it'd be cool if you closed out the night here, if you're listening.
I DM'd him, and he said he's kind of just chilling, just wanting to listen. He don't want to hop on. So
okay.
we'll force him to next week. I know I tried, guys. I tried. But definitely show your support to Maximus. He is mint number 1. He is the OG. Drop him a follow. Check out the hero list on Floki's Instagram and follow every hero. We're trying to get everybody, everybody's voices heard. Everybody follow everybody. We're all positivity and love here. So that's definitely for the better of everybody. And, we would love to have 600 heroes at 600 followers, and anytime they're free and want to host a space, just talk to each other. So go ahead, everyone.
So on that front, I think the latest number is like 456 or something heroes. We just got another 3 that like literally hopped in the past like 5 minutes. So that's cool. Shout out to the minting team, onboarding team, everything from greeting people on Twitter to eventually putting their mint out on Twitter. So that's cool. So go ahead and like the Twitter page. So they're actually listening right now under VGX Heroes is the V hero icon. So go ahead and click that, give it a follow, because moving forward, we will want to also host these educational AMAs from that Twitter. So that way there won't have to be any like, go click on this or whatever. Like it's very simplistic. So we're making a big push to try to get the follow count up on that. Because that's only been live like a week or something. Like
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have enough manpower. So really, if you want to help behind the scenes, I would love having you on the team, and there is a place for everybody.
And a quick shout out to our art team. If you scroll down, you see tons of hero art on a lot of our heroes. They are killing it. They do it 100% on their free time. They're not paid, and they got some of the best art. I mean, just looking at all the heroes and the sick art they have, they do a huge back end, and especially one of our heroes, UT Snake Eyes. He's big on the equities channel. He's grinds it out, posting equities in there all day. He's a paid member of some equity channels, and he does it for free for us. And on his free time, he's pumping out art. But shout out the art team especially as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
can I
if
give
you
one
want to,
last-
oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we have an Instagram as well, which is also VGX_heroes. And if you want to see just the artwork, you skip all the posts and tweets and all that stuff, you know, hop on the Instagram, follow us there. It's just a collection of artwork where you can see all the awesome stuff these guys are making.
Yeah. Last plug I have. It isn't a plug. It's just a little foretaste of what's coming. We really want to. I'll say this. I really want to build or roll out a heroes loyalty program. And the purpose of that is to really help out our art team, because so far right now they don't know how to prioritize certain things, and everything's coming at them which way, and it's hard. So we are thinking about tying that in with Discord bots. So basically, the more active you are, the more you get rewarded with like different forms of art. So we're definitely, and that's just the tip of it. You know, I have lots of other ideas for what to add to it. So where you guys can definitely be keeping us in your prayers is the Discord bots part of it. We really need to figure out a way to automate that process. So Floki needs some time to be able to do that, and so we need other people to help offload some responsibility from what Floki is currently handling in order to do it. So yeah, there's just a little things that are happening behind the scenes, and can't wait to get a finished product out to you guys.
Absolutely. And another point on that, if you have any specialty, if you want to help out in any way, feel free to reach out to me, Floki, Michael, Aragorn, Maximus, any of us on, you know, maybe education, maybe if you're good at art or anything like that. We love all the help we can get. You know, we're scaling this thing up the best we can, but we're putting in a lot of man hours of our own free time. So the more help, you know, absolutely welcome. And Floki, you got something?
I got some feedback from Aragorn, and I just paused him there. Now I'm trying to unmute him if you if you had something additional to say.
Nope,
Okay,
that's
you're
it.
good. Okay, cool. Yeah, we love ideas. We love strategy. We love the theory crafting, so to speak. We want to hear everybody's ideas, big and small. But yeah, we love you guys, and thanks for this awesome AMA Wednesday.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate every single person that stopped in here. Once again, if you missed any, drop by Crypto Airborne stream. Thanks once again, everybody. If we can throw up some hundreds before we all leave, it's greatly appreciated. And yeah, we'll see y'all around. See y'all next Wednesday. We'll be posting a poll. It'll be on the VGX Heroes official Twitter. So we'd love input on that to kind of gauge the community, what time works best for them. Once again, I appreciate everybody in the community. You know, I love every one of y'all. Can't wait to hear every single one of y'all's stories. You know, this is more than just crypto trying to shield VGX. This is a family and a community. We're building something special here. So just a quick shout out to everybody. You know, every single person's appreciated. Thanks so much, guys.
Have a good night. See you next week.
Yep. See y'all.
Bye.
Space is ending in 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.